Okay, let's talk termites. This is a recent case where what you're looking at are two floor joists in a basement in an old house that are sandwiched together to make a beam. And if you can see this little bit of discoloration right where the two meet together, that's a really classic place to find termite shelter tubes or termite mud. This is what termites use when they travel, when they emerge from wood that they're eating. They'll cover their exit point and their tunnels with this mud. So once we see that, we know we're on the hunt for termites. We want to see, is it one area affected? Is it the whole, like everything we can see? Like how extensive is it? We can't always answer that question, but we want to try. So once we were alerted by seeing that little bit of mud, we started looking more closely for termites. And this is another little piece of mud where a post, an old wood post, used to be. It was removed, likely after it was eaten by termites, and this is what was remaining. And not, again, a little bit of mud from termites, so we know we're kind of heading in the right direction. Let's see what else we got here. This is a post, like this post here used to be up there, and it shrunk and fell away because it got eaten by termites. Like that's what we're concerned about. At the top there, you can see a lot more of that mud, and if you look carefully, you can actually see a hole where they went up, like they cleared out all that wood, they ate it. All right, so this is the reason that we're concerned about termites is they actually eat wood. They consume it as a food source. So once they get into your framing, that's a better shot of that same hole I was just talking about. This is a better shot of between those two joists. There was a part where they kind of opened up a little bit and I could actually get in there with a camera and really see what was going on. They had chewed away the inside of both of those joists. Now on the outside, if you weren't looking for it, like you wouldn't really notice it because those joists look like they're intact. That's another shot, same thing. And this is a different part of the house, different part of the basement, where you've got a large piece of timber that's acting as a beam, and you can see floor joists coming off of either side of it. And if you look down into that check where the wood split open a little bit, again, we're seeing termite shelter tubes in there. And I wanted to show you this one specifically because it not only shows that the termites were there, but also shows that somebody knew about it. We don't know who. We don't know if it's the current owner or the one previous to that or whoever. And it wasn't disclosed, right? So this is unfortunately common. When we zoom in here, I think I got a really close shot. When you zoom in, you can actually see holes in the tube, in the shelter tube. So these are literally tunnels that they build to shelter themselves. They'll, like termites, you won't see walking around. They'll just dry out and they'll die. So they actually build themselves these little shelter tubes so that they can traverse areas that are not suitable to them. So they're an underground critter. They live they're subterranean around here in Massachusetts. They live underground and they come up, and once they get into the framing, they'll start working their way through and they'll build these little tunnels to keep themselves intact. So what this represents, and this is the reason I brought it up, is like when you can see a tube like that that's open, these used to be hanging down. So we're looking up at a basement ceiling, we're seeing these open tubes that somebody knocked off, whether that was a homeowner, a property manager, a pest company. We don't know. We don't know who did it, but it left less evidence, right? So I don't know if someone was intentionally concealing that. I don't know. I'm not speculating here. The point is, you gotta like look for things like that because this was really extensive damage. Like there's a ton. The more we looked, the more we found. Like it just kept coming. So if you're trying to judge, if I'm trying to judge, like, do I say this is like a severe termite infestation or past infestation? I don't know if it's active. This was like left to right. I found evidence all the way on the right side of the building, all the way on the left side of the building, all across the front, all across like parts of the rear. I know that those buggers they probably came in through the front. That was grade level. The back was a walkout basement, so we're well off the ground. They're not coming in through the backside in all likelihood, right? So we're talking about enough termite activity that went all the way to the back and all the way across. That's a lot. I don't care who you are. Common sense says that's a lot of termites, right? So it's important to know how to look for termites. It's important to um, do that as part of a home inspection, in my opinion. Everybody does this differently. Every inspector does this differently. Some don't look for it at all, and that's why I want to talk about it, because we're not required, at least in Massachusetts. I don't know how other states are, but we're not required to look for termites. We can. We can certainly get the training and offer it. Some people do it as a separate service. Some people do it in concert with a pest inspection company that they'll have come out either at the same time or a separate time. They at least offer you the opportunity to know you should do that. Some companies don't. So I want you to be aware that you can have this done and you should have this done, because otherwise you're just not going to know. You might not know until you open up a wall to do a renovation and realize there's a lot of damage in there. And we're not going to know that either. But if we see it across the basement, now you know they've been in the house. And maybe they went up too into the walls. And there's no way to know that without opening up a wall. But like, this is good evidence that you would want to know as part of a purchase decision. Get your houses inspected. Thanks.